Have you ever just laid in bed at night, wishing there was an off switch for your brain? Well, you are in exactly the right place. In this explainer, we're going to build a full toolkit, backed by science, to help you fall asleep faster. So let's dive right in.
Oh man, we have all been there, right? That awful feeling of frustration when you're just lying there totally awake, knowing you need to sleep, but your body is just not getting the memo. It feels like this nightly battle for so many of us. But what if we've been thinking about sleep all wrong? See, here's the thing. Sleep isn't like flicking a light switch. It's a process, a gradual descent. It's much more like landing a plane. You can't just command your brain to shut down, right? You have to guide it in for a nice, smooth landing. And this one idea is going to be central to pretty much everything we're about to talk about. So yeah, let's properly frame this struggle, because it's real. For millions of people, the simple act of falling asleep feels like a fight. But here's the good news. With the right knowledge and the right tools, it's a battle you can absolutely win. Okay, first things first, let's set a benchmark. Sleep latency. That's just the fancy term for how long it takes you to actually drift off. And a healthy range is about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, here's a surprise. If you're out like a light in under 10 minutes, you might actually be sleep deprived. But if it's consistently taking you way longer than 20 minutes, that's a pretty clear sign that your sleep habits might need a little tune-up. All right, let's get into our first set of tools. And these are all about preparation. You see, great sleep doesn't just start when your head hits the pillow. No. It starts way earlier with the choices you make and the environment you create all day and into the evening. And we're going to start with a really surprising one, temperature. To even begin to fall asleep, your body needs to drop its core temperature by about 1 degree Celsius. So the ideal bedroom temperature is a cool 65 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 18 Celsius. I know, it sounds a little chilly, but it is one of the single most effective ways to signal to your body that, hey, it's time to rest. So beyond just temperature, your bedroom needs to be a sanctuary for sleep. Darkness is absolutely critical because it's what triggers the release of melatonin, the sleep hormone. You want to keep it quiet to avoid any little disruptions. And of course, make sure your bed is actually comfortable. These three things, dark, quiet, and comfortable, create the perfect conditions for that smooth landing we were talking about. And remember, what you do all day has a huge impact on your night. Caffeine can stick around in your system for up to 12 hours, so it's really best to cut it off around noon. Big meals or alcohol can mess with your digestion and your sleep cycles. And that blue light from our screens, it completely tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, which just shuts down your melatonin production. So, the really crucial point here is this. You need a buffer zone, a space between your busy, chaotic day and your bedtime. This wind-down routine is basically your pre-flight check. Whether it's reading a book, a real book, or listening to calm music, or taking a warm bath, this little ritual is what signals to your brain that it's time to begin the descent into sleep. Okay, so you've set the stage perfectly. You're in bed, but your mind is still racing. What do you do now? Well, now we get to the in-the-moment techniques you can use to calm everything down and guide yourself to sleep. Here is a super powerful but really simple one, the 4-7-8 method. It's like a natural tranquilizer for your nervous system. So you just exhale completely, then you inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold it for 7, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. Just doing that a few times can slow your heart rate and make a massive difference. This next one was developed to help soldiers fall asleep in really stressful situations, so you know it's got to be effective. It combines a full body scan with a little bit of visualization. You just systematically relax every single muscle group, one by one, from your head all the way down to your toes. This physical release really helps to quiet all that mental chatter, making it so much easier to drift off. Now get ready for a technique that sounds totally backward. You know how you get anxious about not sleeping, and then that anxiety itself keeps you awake? Well, paradoxical intention just flips the script. Instead of trying so hard to fall asleep, you're actually going to try to stay awake. This quote just nails the idea perfectly. By intending to stay awake, you completely remove the pressure, that performance anxiety that we build up around sleep. Just remember, sleep is an involuntary process. You can't force it to happen. By letting go of the struggle, you create the space for sleep to just naturally take over. But what about those really tough nights? You've tried everything. Your wind down routine was perfect, you did your breathing exercises, but you are still just lying there, wide awake. This next piece of advice might just be the most important and surprising one of all. So it's been about 20, maybe 25 minutes, and sleep is just nowhere in sight. The frustration is building up. What's the best move you can make right now?
That's it. Get out of bed. I know, it sounds like the absolute last thing you should do, but staying in bed while you're awake and frustrated is probably the worst habit you can have if you struggle with insomnia.
And here's the science behind why. It's a principle called stimulus control. See, your brain is an association machine. If you spend hours tossing and turning and worrying in bed, your brain learns that your bed is a place for anxious wakefulness. We have to break that connection.
And this is exactly how you break that unhelpful association. You get up, you go do something quiet and frankly boring, in low light like reading a dull book, and you only go back to bed when you feel sleepy again. This literally retrains your brain to relearn that helpful association. Your bed is for sleep and only for sleep.
So all of these tools we've talked about are super helpful, but there is one factor that sits underneath everything else and makes all these other strategies way more effective. Ultimately, it all comes down to your body's master 24-hour clock, your circadian rhythm. And your circadian rhythm thrives on one thing above all else: regularity. A consistent sleep-wake schedule is the anchor for everything else.
And this is how you do it. Same bedtime, same wake-up time, every single day. And yes, I'm sorry to say, that includes Saturday and Sunday. I know it's tough, but that consistency is more powerful than almost any other single habit for improving your sleep in the long run.
Now, it's also really crucial to know when these tips just aren't enough. If your sleep problems have been going on for more than a month and they're really impacting your life, or if you have symptoms like really loud snoring, it is so important to talk to your doctor. There could be an underlying medical condition like sleep apnea or chronic insomnia that needs professional treatment.
So as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Everything we've discussed today, from a cool, dark room to trying to stay awake to getting out of bed, it all points to this one central idea. The secret to falling asleep faster isn't about trying harder. It's about removing the obstacles and the anxieties and simply allowing your body's natural, incredible ability to sleep to just take over.